right. So far, so good. Thank you very much. And good morning, everyone. I am Nilson Coimbra. I am currently a postdoctoral fellow at the Faculty of Medicine in São Paulo, Brazil. And this is some of our experience using the core competency framework and managing a community of students in Brazil. So these are my team, my colleagues that work with me in RCG. And those are one of those several projects that we run in Brazil under the local branch of the RCG Brazil. The special one is focused on educational committee, which has a very long, short history. That Brazil, it's celebrating the 20 years also of the curricula in bioinformatics also. And RCG Brazil, since in 2014, it's being reactivated in the country. And since then, we've been collecting a lot of inputs from the community. And then in 2019, we have this back from Vinha Del Mar when I had the train the trainer training. And then we use it, they start to use the core competency framework to map the community based on the core competency profiles and the profiles that inside the framework. So the results from this, and we will have opened the educational track in the AXI meeting, which is the AB3C conference in Brazil. So back in time, in 2019, we were three graduate students, Mayra, Raquel, and me. And then we are motivated by several inputs by country, policy, politics, people, data growing, and learning, and pitfall, and learning process. And basically, we were attached by how to identify the needs and how to deliver training and how to tailor courses for the community that we are managing since 2014. Then we have the core competency framework, which it's a marvelous framework. It's a huge effort from this very own cozy. And then it was a little bit difficult to assemble a survey that requests a lot of time for people to request. Like nobody likes to answer a 10-minute survey. So we have to make a little bit of research development. So we could refine the core competencies by analyze each one of them by the time and see the knowledge, skills, and aptitudes that could be aggregated in somewhere like some division. So based on those, we elaborate these 5 divisions back in time, and we use that divisions, this refinement of the core competencies, to make the research development, which we based the level of experience using the career profiles and then profiles inside the framework. We also request the data based on the academic level, so we could map the community by that time. And then we got pre-results, like we have a huge impact in the community, and we could ask for the community and see how the community is spread over the country. So we had back in time 217 instances for the participants, and we have these as a result as this educational model that identify categorical needs from the community. So based on that result, we elaborate all the schedules of RCG activities like the Brazilian Student Council, the League of Brazil Bioinformatics, special interest groups, courses and trainings, podcast materials, and social media content, and then also a couple of webinars for the following years. So what brought me here today, it's like a little bit brief recap in bioinformatics education, which now is considered a grand challenge, and focus on those that impact the learner, and focus on those that impact the trainer, and also that focus on that strengthen the bioinformatics education over a long term. And also the updates of the core competency framework and to the version 3 right now, that was released in 2024, this year, which can use it to straightforward moving forward, right and left, to map the competencies and knowledge, skills, and the and the personas and career profiles. So the motivation from this work is that it's difficult to identify needs from several several different nations and institutional contexts, and also related to the slow progress of the training in bioinformatics, which brought a lot of effort from global education and community manager based on fair principles, and also by that a new generation of RCG students have arisen, and then a training a new generation of students also to be a trainers in the future should be something that we also be awarded in time. And also to evaluate the new framework of the ISCBs, the V3, and also the work that we had by the time. So we could know by a certain time how our community has grown up and how the community has stand so far. So we based our this work mapping our previous domains that we mapped and the V3 the V3 the version 3 of the core competency profile, and then the more the competency were updated with the is knowledge, skills, and aptitude, we saw that two new categories has arisen, like the communication in bioinformatics and continuing development in bioinformatics has been well described in the core competency profile. And we also noticed that the learning domain of those topics that we identified are related to the cognitive level of the sixth first one, and the last one is related to the affective learning domain. So based on that, we elaborate these seven domains, which we call the seven domains of, and which access the diversity beyond the gender identification. It's related to knowledge gap inside the community, and use that model that we built from 2019 to reapply on these seven topics that we elaborated. So the research development was implemented in a Google form in compliance with Brazil general law data protection. We had so far 375 participants. We released the survey over to 6 months. We collected input from ethnics, racial, and demographic self-declaration, state academic information, gender identification, academic level, and the profiles based on the core competencies and the career profile of the ISB framework. We use the confidence scores to ask the needs for each one of these domain topics. And then you use it a couple of suggested themes to tailor course for them. We made the analysis for that using the R and then some packages for plots. Uh, Based on results, we reached 21 out of 26 states in Brazil. So far, the community it's presented by a lot of individuals declared as women, and then followed by men's. But we also have a different other identification. But as I said, the gender identification in this work is not what we mean by diversity. So we also access the profiles based on the career profile and the competency. We saw that a huge distribution of our community, it's academic based distribution, based on academic, based on professors and educators in life science. And also we access each one of them by state and based on their profiles by users, scientists, and developers. So using all that, and also we asked them based on the confidence score for how they feel, how much they need our specific knowledge related to this specific domain based on this confidence score range from 1 to 7. So 1 it's a minimum score, 7 is the maximum score, and we see a lot of different profiles. Like for knowledge in biology, which the A here, like you have the first category is the bottom level is users, scientists, and developers, and you can see that users and scientists they request a lot of knowledge in biology, like while the developers they do not request a lot of knowledge in biology for when you take a course, for example. but you have this beautiful diverse panel of needs. Then we connected all them into alluvial graph, so we could see them related to the level of training based on each one of the categories. Like you see in the top, like developers, they request more advanced training, and then a less basic training regarding the domain topic that they were addressed, followed by scientists and users, they request like training into basic, intermediate, and advanced level, and scientists also in advanced and intermediate level. So using that categories, also we use that to access each one of the profiles needs. So we could use some of those to tailor trainings using all that results together. So based on that, we have two more results. Which one? It's a course. It's an introductory course in bioinformatics, which called Bioinformatics 101. It was an introductory level directed to users. It gathered 126 students, and it was performed during 3 weeks in May. And we have this by online course using a courtesy of the platform from AB3C. We map at each one of the modules that we give the course using the core competency V3. So we could map also the confidence of each one of a student, the advancement from the beginning of the course and the end of the course. So details of the course for each one is basic computers of basic concepts of computer and molecular biology, data and databases, and sequence alignments and BLAST, genome and transcriptome sequencing, comparative genomics and big data, and structural bioinformatics. So more details of these more results of these courses are still producing because it was 2 months ago. And then we have this auto, as a summary for the course, we have this auto evaluation before and after course using the confidence score to access the advances in training for each one of the students. And the fundraisers of this course have promoted the 80 Student Council Symposium in Bioinformatics Training and Education that promoted up to 10 travel fellowships. And speaking about the symposium was just last month in Bahia, and then we have addressed the 7 domain topics in bioinformatics, focus on bioinformatics trends and education, and also celebrating the 20 years of education in Brazil. And then we have a couple of webinars, mini courses. The mini course was one of the advanced directed to developers, like we have seen the results. And then the other one was single cell RNA sequence analysis as an intermediate course directed to scientists. It was a free course during inside our scientific program. So we have the keynote and then the round table around the 20 years of the genomes. And here's a couple of photos of the conference time. And we have a best presentation, best poster, and honorable mention for a high schooler that applied for the conference. It was really nice for in that moment. And those are the 10 students that received the travel fellowship, and these are the organizers of all this initiative for the symposium. So as a discussion, there's a past, present, and future towards as a data-derived definition in using data for a curriculum in bioinformatics. And also that we could use this identification of domains of knowledge to help training training the trainers, and to map a straightforward directions for learners' advancements. We also saw something related of this work with the work from colleagues like Welch in 2018 that was toward a curriculum definition that all the 7 domains that we identified based on the refinement of the core competencies are inside the curriculum, the minimum curriculum already published by this own committee. So this is really going for refine a curriculum in bioinformatics could help to refine the curriculum. So for overall summary of this talk, we have this result from the 7 domain topics and the courses and the symposium. And the future perspective is to use it's a data-driven model to know the community and provide better service, and also to export this to other initiatives. Welcome. So a couple of acknowledgement. I have to acknowledge the sponsors of my attendance here, the Faculty of Medicine and the Instituto de Medicina Tropical of Faculty, Cabana, the Cozy Education, their very own, and the name of Silvia Costa, the CAF, the Rebecca Campus, Diane Kovacs, and also Bell Hanson. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we've got time for a question or two.
Thank you, Nilson. It's not a question, it's just a comment. It's actually, being on the other end of putting together some of those frameworks and challenges, etc. You get lost in the work and you never see when it's applied. And I think you should congratulate yourself as a powerhouse in Brazil to take those learnings and apply them in a real setting in Brazil to move things forward. I think that's fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, I can't resist. I think this is a lovely piece of work, and I think I take two things from it. One is that, as well as the careful analysis that you've done, the social engineering that you've done, and bringing this community together in the way that you've done it is absolutely fantastic and something to inspire us all. And then the other thing that I take away, and that I think as a community we need to discuss is that to move forward you had to simplify what we'd created. Yeah. And I've seen that in two of the previous talks as well, and I really think we need to focus now on how do we simplify the framework to make it as usable by communities like the community in Brazil, and to really make it a valuable and widely used instrument in bioinformatics education across the globe. And we can take a lot from all three talks, actually, to help us do that. Thank you.
Thank you.